Welcome to the Edith Stoic channel. Today, we're diving deeper into our self-growth series, a journey where ancient wisdom meets modern living. If you're new here or haven't watched the earlier episodes, you'll find a full playlist linked at the end of this video. Each lesson is more than just theory. It's a practical guide to shaping a grounded, intentional life. So, before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. If this video resonates with you, drop a like and leave a comment below, something like "staying centered," to let us know you're part of the journey. In this episode, we're bringing Stoicism out of the pages of history and into your everyday morning routine. Think of it as your secret tool for approaching life with clarity, calm, and resilience. We'll uncover how the way you start your day shapes not just your productivity, but your inner peace. You might be asking, can I really find peace in the middle of a busy morning? How can I create space for purpose when life moves so fast? And how did the Stoics, who lived centuries ago, already have answers to these questions? Let's find out, starting with Lesson 1, the power of a morning ritual, a mindful start. Designing a morning that supports you. Let's take a moment to rethink mornings. Not the frantic, half-asleep scramble to find your phone. Grab a bite and rush out the door, but a slower, more intentional beginning. A morning that isn't about catching up, but about grounding yourself for the day ahead. Imagine starting each day not with stress and chaos, but with calm, clarity, and a sense of purpose, breaking the snooze cycle. Many of us are familiar with the dreaded snooze button. It promises us just 5 more minutes, but usually delivers grogginess, disorientation, and the feeling of being behind before the day even begins. The truth is, how we wake up matters, and more importantly, how we choose to begin our day can set the tone for everything that follows. Ancient wisdom, modern practice. Great minds of the past recognized the importance of mornings. Philosophers like Aristotle believed that the early hours were a sacred window, an opportunity to align with reason, reflect deeply, and engage the body. These routines weren't just about discipline, they were about harmony. In today's world, where distractions are everywhere, and the pace of life feels relentless, creating a steady morning ritual might be more essential than ever. Building your own morning ritual. You don't need to wake up at 5 or follow someone else's routine step by step. Instead, consider creating a set of habits that truly support your mental, physical, and emotional well-being. Here's a simple structure to get you started. 1. Wake with intention. Rather than jolting awake to an alarm and immediately reaching for your phone, try to rise at the same time every day, even on weekends. This helps your internal clock regulate naturally. Upon waking, take a few slow breaths, stretch gently. Then, set a quiet intention. Today, I will be present. Or, today, I choose calm. 2. Rehydrate and refuel. Overnight, your body goes without water for several hours. Start the day by drinking a full glass of water to wake up your system. Then, nourish yourself with a balanced breakfast. Something rich in protein, fiber, and healthy fats. It doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to support you. 3. Move your body. Movement wakes up both the body and the mind. This doesn't have to be a gym session. Just a short walk, a few yoga poses, or light stretching can lift your energy and mood. It's less about intensity and more about consistency. 4. Clear your mind. Take 10 minutes for a practice that connects you to your inner world. This might be meditation, journaling, or even reading something inspiring. Writing down a few thoughts or feelings without judgment can clear space for focus and creativity. It's not about perfection, but presence. 5. Plan with purpose. Finally, take a few minutes to review your day. What are your top 3 priorities? Is there one thing you can do today that would truly move you forward? Planning helps you act with intention rather than reacting to whatever comes your way. Real-life inspiration. People from all walks of life use morning rituals to anchor their day. Entrepreneurs begin with breath work and reflection to sharpen their focus. Creatives often write freely in the mornings, unlocking insights and ideas. Athletes rely on early workouts to build momentum and discipline. Across all professions, the pattern is the same. A conscious start creates a more empowered day. It's not about adding more. The goal here isn't to cram more into your mornings, it's to make space. A few quiet moments to check in with yourself before the world demands your attention. You deserve that space, and when you claim it, you'll find that the rest of the day often flows more easily. As the saying goes, win the morning, win the day. So give yourself permission to experiment. What helps you feel grounded? What makes your mornings meaningful? Your routine doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to support you. And over time, that support becomes a foundation for a more focused, energized, and intentional life. Your mind, your body, and your soul will be better for it. Ending the day with intention, a gentle ritual for growth. In the chaos of everyday life, it's easy to fall into patterns of automatic living. We wake up to the sound of an alarm, stumble through routines, power through work or responsibilities, and finally collapse into bed without ever taking a breath to consider how the day actually felt. But what if we could shift this pattern? What if the end of each day became not just a time to rest, but an opportunity to reconnect with ourselves? The truth is, reflection is a powerful tool, one that too often goes unused in a culture obsessed with doing rather than being. We think of productivity in terms of what we get done, but rarely in terms of what we learned, what we felt, or how we grew. Yet, ancient thinkers from many traditions, especially the Stoics, believed that self-examination was essential to a meaningful life. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, wrote nightly in his journal, exploring his thoughts, actions, and intentions. It wasn't about perfection. It was about awareness. So how can we bring this practice into our own lives in a way that feels simple, nourishing, and sustainable? Let's explore a 3-part nightly ritual that can serve as a mental cleanse. A gentle reset that prepares not just the body, but the mind and heart for rest. 1. Honor the good. Begin by asking, what went well today? It might be something big, a project completed, a goal met, or it could be small but meaningful, a warm conversation, a moment of laughter, a quiet walk. Naming these wins, however minor they seem, trains our minds to notice and appreciate the good. This isn't about toxic positivity or pretending everything is fine. It's about reminding ourselves that even on difficult days, light still found a way in. 2. Embrace the lessons. Next, reflect on the challenges. What felt difficult or disappointing? What did you learn about yourself, others, or the world? This is not a time for harsh judgment, but for gentle curiosity. Maybe you lost your patience, missed a deadline, or said something you regret. These are not failures. They are invitations to grow. As the philosopher Confucius said, a man who has committed a mistake and doesn't correct it is committing another mistake. Awareness is the first step toward change. 3. Make one small shift. After reflecting, identify one small adjustment you'd like to carry into tomorrow. This might be as simple as getting to bed earlier, reaching out to someone you care about, or taking a moment to pause before reacting in stress. The key is to keep it doable. Tiny shifts, repeated daily, lead to lasting transformation. As Lao Tzu reminded us, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. How this practice comes to life. This isn't just a nice idea for philosophers or monks. People from all walks of life are quietly using this end-of-day reflection to become more intentional. The Entrepreneur's Journal. Many business leaders keep a journal by their bedside, not to strategize, but to understand themselves. They reflect on how they led that day. Were they compassionate, clear, courageous? The focused athlete. Athletes. 2. Review their days, mentally replaying not just their performance, but their mindset. Did they stay present? Did they push through adversity? It's not just about physical training, but emotional awareness. The mindful parent. Some parents build this into bedtime with their kids. A quick check-in. What made you happy today? Or what was hard? These moments foster emotional intelligence in children and connection in families. Rethinking money. What true wealth really means. Let's talk honestly about money. Not just the numbers in your bank account or your next financial goal, but what money really represents in our lives. So often, we're sold the idea that more money means more happiness, more freedom, and more security. But the truth is, this story is much more complicated. We live in a culture that puts money on a pedestal. It's seen as the marker of success, the ticket to happiness, the measure of self-worth. But is that really the case? Or are we chasing something that can never truly satisfy us? As the ancient thinker Epictetus once said, "Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not." It's not about having it all. It's about needing less. Many of us would find that we already have enough if only we stopped to notice the never-ending chase. Think about it. How often do we finally get the raise, the new gadget, or the dream vacation, and within weeks, we're already eyeing the next thing? That's the hedonic adaptation at work. It's a psychological phenomenon that makes us quickly adjust to improvements in our life, and soon, the satisfaction fades. We're back on the treadmill, chasing the next upgrade, the next bonus, the next more. This cycle leads us into what could be called the money trap. We begin to prioritize financial gain over our own well-being. We sacrifice sleep, health, time with loved ones, and even our own values just to climb a financial ladder that has no top rung. And as the Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely noted, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. A healthier relationship with wealth. So, how can we shift our perspective and reclaim our sense of purpose beyond the paycheck? Redefine wealth. True wealth goes beyond dollars and cents. It includes having a sense of safety, nurturing relationships, meaningful work, good health, and the time to enjoy life. When you measure richness by quality of life rather than quantity of possessions, the entire game changes. Practice daily gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to material obsession. When you focus on what's already good in your life, your health, your friendships, even the beauty of a morning walk, you start to see how rich you already are. A simple habit, like jotting down 3 things you're grateful for each day, can transform your mindset. Spend with intention. Instead of chasing the latest status symbols, consider spending money on things that actually add value, like experiences that create memories, education that fosters growth, or tools that support your goals. Often, what brings the deepest joy isn't what we own, but what we live. Give generously. Giving, whether through time, money, or kindness, is one of the most fulfilling ways to use your resources. Helping others connects us to something bigger than ourselves and reminds us that wealth is meant to flow, not just accumulate. Real-life inspiration. Consider the entrepreneurs who've intentionally chosen minimalist lifestyles, despite having the means to live extravagantly. They've realized that simplicity can lead to clarity, and that joy often comes from less, not more. Then there are billionaires like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, who've committed to donating the majority of their wealth to causes that uplift humanity. They understand that money is not the end, but a means, a powerful tool when placed in service of something meaningful. And don't forget the everyday people, the happy campers, so to speak, who find contentment in nature, in relationships, in small daily rituals. They may not have millions in the bank, but they often have what many wealthy people still seek: peace of mind, presence, and joy, the power of going deeper. Let's take a moment to look beneath the surface, not of the ocean, but of our understanding. In a world that moves fast and favors quick takes, it's easy to settle for surface-level knowledge. But what if we made it a habit to slow down, ask better questions, and truly understand the world around us? We live in an era of endless information. Notifications buzz, headlines flash, and social media scrolls on forever. But amidst all this noise, how much do we really know? How much do we truly understand? There's a difference between knowing a fact and grasping its deeper significance. As Socrates once said, the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. He didn't say this to embrace ignorance, but to point toward a life of curiosity, reflection, and deeper truth-seeking. Why aim for deep understanding? Sharpen your thinking. When we commit to going beyond appearances, we train our minds to think critically. We start evaluating sources, weighing evidence, and drawing conclusions on our own terms. In a world overflowing with biased narratives and misinformation, this kind of mental clarity is more than useful. It's necessary. Expand your empathy. To understand someone deeply is to see the world through their eyes. When we explore the stories, struggles, and motivations of others, we build bridges rather than walls. True understanding fuels compassion, which is the foundation for healthier relationships and stronger communities. Fuel creativity and problem solving. Innovation doesn't come from memorizing facts. It comes from understanding how things work. When we deeply grasp a challenge, we're better equipped to find unique and lasting solutions. Many breakthroughs, whether in science, art, or social change, come from those who refuse to accept surface answers. How this shows up in real life. Think about the investigative journalist. Their job isn't just to report headlines. They dig beneath official statements, uncover hidden truths, and reveal stories that others overlook. Their curiosity keeps power in check and truth alive. Or take the scientist. Every experiment begins with a question. Instead of relying on what's already known, scientists test, probe, and challenge assumptions. Their relentless drive for deeper understanding has led to life-changing discoveries in medicine, energy, and technology. Then there's the lifelong learner. This person doesn't settle. They read widely, ask questions, explore unfamiliar ideas, and stay open to new perspectives. For them, learning is not just an activity, it's a way of being. How to develop deeper understanding. Ask thoughtful questions. Curiosity is your starting point. Don't be afraid to ask why and how again and again. Even questions that seem simple can open doors to profound insight if pursued with honesty and depth. Challenge what you think you know. Just because something is widely accepted doesn't make it true. Look at the evidence, examine your own beliefs, and stay humble. Awareness of your own biases is the first step toward real clarity. Listen to different voices. Echo chambers are comforting but dangerous. Growth happens when we're exposed to new viewpoints, even those we disagree with. Talk to people with different life experiences. Be curious, not combative. Look for patterns and context. Don't just collect random facts. Try to see how things connect. What patterns emerge? What historical, cultural, or emotional context is influencing the issue? Understanding the big picture helps make sense of the details. Give it time. Deep understanding doesn't happen in a hurry. It requires time, effort, and a willingness to sit with uncertainty. But the reward is worth it. Clarity, insight, and wisdom. The real victory. Let's take a moment to rethink what it means to win. Not the kind of win that gets you a trophy or puts your name in lights, but the quiet, powerful kind of victory that comes from living with intention, staying true to yourself, and growing into the person you're meant to be, redefining success. We live in a world that often tells us success is about having more money, more followers, more status. From an early age, we're taught to chase gold stars, job titles, and picture-perfect lives. But that chase can be exhausting. And even when we get the things we thought we wanted, the satisfaction tends to be short-lived. It's like drinking salt water. The more we consume, the thirstier we become. Real fulfillment doesn't come from applause or approval. It comes from alignment. When your actions match your values, when you feel connected to what you're doing, and when your life reflects what truly matters to you. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely noted, freedom is not achieved by satisfying desire, but by eliminating it, the fuel within. So, if external rewards aren't the answer, where do we turn? The answer lies within. It's about waking up in the morning with a sense of purpose that comes from you, not from the world's expectations. This is what psychologists call intrinsic motivation. Doing something because it's meaningful to you, not because you'll get a pat on the back. When you do something out of genuine interest or passion, you enter a different state. You're not focused on how others will judge you. You're focused on the experience itself. It becomes less about outcomes and more about the process. The learning, the growth, the quiet joy of becoming. As psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi described, some of the most rewarding moments in life happen when we stretch ourselves just beyond our comfort zone, fully engaged in something that matters to us. That's where true satisfaction lives, in challenge, creativity, and contribution. How to tap into it. Here's how we begin to build a life rooted in intrinsic value. Clarify your values. Ask yourself, what do I care about? Deep down, what principles guide me when no one's watching? Get clear on what matters to you. Not your parents, not society, not social media, and you. This will be your anchor when the world tries to pull you in every direction. Set soul-driven goals. Forget goals that just look good on paper. What do you want to build, experience, or become? Choose goals that challenge you in meaningful ways, goals that light a fire in your chest. When your goals are aligned with your values, every step toward them feels like progress, not pressure. Appreciate the process. Life isn't a checklist. It's a long, winding journey filled with highs, lows, and everything in between. Don't rush to the finish line. Instead, celebrate the small wins, learn from setbacks, and be present for your own evolution. Growth is rarely linear, but it's always valuable. Find your flow. Flow is that magical state where time melts away and you're completely absorbed in what you're doing. It could be painting, coding, gardening, writing, anything that challenges you just enough to keep you engaged but not overwhelmed. These moments of flow are where your soul comes alive. Real-life reflections. You can see this philosophy in action all around you. The writer who crafts stories not for fame, but for the love of words. The teacher who finds joy in helping one student finally grasp a difficult concept. The person who shows up for a community project simply because it feels like the right thing to do. They may not make headlines, but they're winning in the deepest way, by living in alignment with who they are, not who the world wants them to be. The inner trophy. In the end, the only prize worth chasing is peace. Peace with the choices you make, the work you do, and the life you create. It's not about standing on a podium. It's about standing in your truth. As Confucius once said, the superior man seeks what is right. The inferior one, what is profitable. Choose what's right. Choose meaning over metrics. And remember, the real prize isn't out there somewhere. It's within you, harnessing the power of a personal mantra. Let's take a moment to explore something simple yet deeply transformative. The personal mantra now before your mind goes to incense, gongs, and cross-legged chanting. Let's clear the air. While traditional mantras have deep roots in spiritual practices, what we're diving into here is the idea of a mantra as a powerful mental tool, a short phrase that can anchor you, guide you, and uplift you. A mantra is more than just a word or sound repeated during meditation. It's a personal affirmation, a reminder of your strength, a compass pointing you back to your true self when life feels like it's pulling you in every direction. Think of it as a verbal talisman, a phrase that carries power, meaning, and intention. Why mantras matter. Words shape our internal world. The thoughts we repeat shape our beliefs, and those beliefs influence our emotions and behavior. A mantra allows us to reshape our inner narrative with purpose and intention. It's your internal rallying cry when doubt creeps in, when stress builds up, or when you just need to reconnect with clarity. The ancient and the everyday. Mantras have been used for thousands of years, particularly in ancient Indian traditions like Hinduism and Buddhism. But the concept of repeating meaningful words to influence the mind isn't limited to spiritual rituals. Across cultures and history, thinkers and leaders have recognized the power of language to shape reality. As the Buddha said, "What we think, we become." You don't need to be a monk or philosopher to understand this. You've probably already used informal mantras without realizing it. Those phrases you whisper to yourself before a big moment, or repeat when trying to stay calm. How mantras work. Mental clarity. Repeating a mantra can cut through the noise of daily distractions. It gives your mind a focal point, a place to land when thoughts are swirling. It's like pressing pause and reminding yourself what truly matters. Positive conditioning. With enough repetition, your mantra becomes embedded in your subconscious. You begin to believe the words, not just say them. Over time, this can help replace self-doubt with confidence, fear with courage, and apathy with purpose. Emotional regulation. A calming mantra can act as a reset button during stressful moments. Whether you're battling anxiety or frustration, a few quiet repetitions can slow your breathing, ease your tension, and bring you back to center. Motivation and drive. Mantras are like emotional fuel. They remind you why you started, what you're capable of, and where you're going. On days when everything feels hard, your mantra can be a whisper of encouragement or a shout of determination. Real-life examples. Athletes often rely on short, powerful phrases to stay focused and confident. "I've got this," or "stronger," every day can push them through fatigue and fear. Entrepreneurs use mantras to stay grounded and driven. Especially through failure, "I create value" or "I lead with purpose" helps them maintain clarity. Everyday people, parents, students, caregivers, dreamers can all benefit from mantras. Whether it's "I am enough," "I choose peace," or "I trust the process," these phrases become quiet sources of resilience. Creating your own mantra. This isn't about picking the most poetic or impressive phrase. It's about choosing words that resonate deeply with you. Here's how to craft your own. Choose something personal. Your mantra should reflect what you need or what you believe. Maybe it's courage, gratitude, or self-love. Choose words that make you feel something. Keep it simple. Short and memorable wins the game. "I am resilient. This too shall pass. One step at a time." Keep it tight so you can call on it instantly. Make it a habit. Repetition is key. Say your mantra in the mirror, during a walk, before sleep, or whenever you feel ungrounded. The more you say it, the more it sticks and works. The 3 foundations of self-mastery. Let's take a step away from the noise of everyday life and zoom in on something timeless: how to live better. Not just survive, but thrive. Fully, intentionally, and meaningfully. The ancient thinkers weren't just sitting around in togas philosophizing for fun. They were on to something practical, something powerful. They believed that mastering 3 key areas of life could radically transform how we experience the world. These areas: the discipline of desire, the discipline of action, and the discipline of thought. Think of them as your personal training grounds for inner strength. 1. The discipline of desire. Desire, when left unchecked, can control us. We crave, we want, we chase, but often, the more we feed these wants, the emptier we feel. Training desire isn't about killing it off completely. It's about understanding it. Learning to recognize which desires serve your highest values and which simply distract you. The Stoics taught that it's not the thing we desire that brings suffering, but our dependence on it. You don't need to give up comfort, success, or pleasure. You simply need to hold them loosely. When your wants align with your values, desire becomes a compass instead of a chain. 2. The discipline of action. Desire alone isn't enough. Without action, it's just a dream that fizzles. The second foundation of self-mastery is training yourself to act, not react, with intention and courage. It's about showing up, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. As Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence doesn't come from a single heroic moment. It comes from building habits that reflect your values. Every choice you make is a small step in shaping your character. Want to be brave? Do the brave thing. Want to be kind? Act with compassion. Change starts with doing. 3. The discipline of thought. Lastly, and perhaps most powerfully, is the training of the mind. Your thoughts are the lens through which you experience reality. They can uplift you or crush you. Learning to become aware of your inner dialogue, to question your assumptions, to shift your mindset, that's the heart of this third discipline. The Buddha put it beautifully. What we think, we become. If you constantly feed yourself with criticism, fear, and self-doubt, your reality begins to reflect that. But you can learn to challenge these patterns. You can choose to speak to yourself like someone you care about. This kind of mental training rewires not just your mood, but your life, putting it into practice. Let's bring it down to earth with a few examples. Desire training. Maybe you find yourself endlessly scrolling through social media, comparing your life to carefully curated highlight reels. You feel drained and less than. This is a misplaced desire for connection or validation. Training your desire might mean setting phone-free hours or redirecting that energy into journaling, meaningful conversation, or creativity. Action training. Suppose you've been wanting to get in shape or start a passion project. You're inspired, but can't seem to follow through. Action training might mean breaking the goal into small steps, finding accountability, and committing even when motivation is low. Progress doesn't require perfection, just consistency. Thought training. If your mind is full of self-criticism, I'm not good enough, I'll fail anyway, this is your chance to challenge that narrative. Start by noticing the thought. Then ask, is this true? Is it helpful? Replace it with something more empowering. Not blind positivity, but honest encouragement. I'm learning. I've gotten through hard things before. I'm growing. Learning from the wise. A shortcut to a better life. Let's take a moment to slow down and consider one of the most underrated yet powerful tools for personal growth. Watching the wise, no, not just reading their quotes or memorizing what they said, but truly observing how they lived, how they thought, and how they handled life's challenges. We're not talking about school textbooks or formal education here, though those can be helpful too. We're talking about real wisdom, the kind that's earned through experience, failure, reflection, and deep insight. The kind that comes from people who have already walked the path we're just beginning to explore. Think of the ancient greats, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. These weren't men who simply sat in ivory towers theorizing all day. They lived in the real world. They paid attention. They questioned everything. They experimented with ideas in conversation and through action. And most importantly, they shared what they learned. Their writings, teachings, and lives became blueprints for generations after them. Seneca, one of the most respected Stoic philosophers, said it best: associate with those who will make you better. Welcome those you can help. The process is mutual. People learn as they teach. That quote alone carries a lifetime of truth. So why is it so important to watch the wise? 1. It speeds up your growth. Why struggle through years of trial and error when you can learn from someone who's already been through it? Observing wise individuals is like using a map in unfamiliar territory. It doesn't mean you won't have to walk the path yourself, but you'll likely avoid a few dead ends. Their experience becomes your head start. Their mistakes become your warnings. Their clarity becomes your compass. 2. It expands your thinking. We all live inside our own little mental worlds, full of biases, assumptions, and blind spots. Watching the wise cracks those walls open. It exposes us to new ideas, different ways of living, and fresh perspectives. You begin to realize that there's more than one way to live a meaningful life. Their worldview doesn't have to replace yours, but it can stretch it, refine it, and make it stronger. 3. It fuels your inspiration. There's something deeply moving about seeing someone live with purpose, handle adversity with grace, or speak truth when it's hard. It awakens something in us. Watching people rise from struggle, build with integrity, or lead with compassion can be just the spark we need to move forward. Sometimes, we just need to see that it's possible. Real-life examples. The guided entrepreneur. Behind many successful business owners is a mentor. Someone who's been there, done that, and is willing to pass on the wisdom. They help their mentees see around corners, make better decisions, and stay grounded through the ups and downs. The inspired artist. Artists often study the greats who came before them, not to copy, but to understand. They learn from old techniques, reflect on timeless themes, and then use that foundation to create something uniquely their own. Everyday role models. Sometimes wisdom doesn't come from books or public figures. It comes from a grandparent who lived through hardship, a teacher who led with heart, or a friend who listens deeply. Anyone who reflects the kind of person you want to become can be a source of insight. How to learn from the wise. 1. Identify your role models. Who are the people you deeply admire? What qualities in them do you wish to see in yourself? Make a list, whether they're historical figures, public personalities, or someone close to you. That list is your starting point. 2. Study their lives. Read their books. Listen to their interviews. Follow their work. Don't just skim. Observe. Pay attention to how they approach problems, how they handle failure, how they speak, how they think. 3. Seek connection when possible. If the person you admire is within reach, don't be afraid to reach out. It could be through a mentorship program, a thoughtful email, or even a conversation over coffee. People often feel honored to share what they have learned. 4. Reflect and apply. Don't just collect quotes and wisdom for the sake of it. Ask yourself, how does this apply to my life? What can I try today that reflects what I've learned? Even small shifts in mindset or habit can create big change over time. Lesson 9. Simplify to find peace. Clear your space. Clear your mind. In a world that constantly pushes us to do more, buy more, and be more, simplicity becomes a radical act. But let's be clear, this isn't about throwing away everything you own or moving into a cabin in the woods, unless that calls to you. What we're talking about is clearing out the noise in your physical space, in your schedule, and most importantly, in your mind, so you can focus on what actually matters. The weight of too much. Modern life comes with an overwhelming abundance. Notifications ping constantly. Choices multiply. To-do lists never seem to end. We carry the invisible weight of too many obligations, too many distractions, too many things we said yes to when we should have said no. And over time, all that excess creates stress, confusion, and a creeping sense that we're always behind. Socrates once warned of the barrenness of a busy life. In other words, being constantly in motion doesn't mean we're moving forward. Often, busyness is just a distraction from deeper discomforts or a fear of stillness. But what if stillness is exactly what we need? The power of less. Simplicity isn't about loss. It's about clarity. It's the art of making space for what you truly value by removing what no longer serves you. It's choosing depth over breadth, presence over performance, and meaning over motion. As author Joshua Becker once said, simplicity is the intentional promotion of the things we most value and the removal of anything that distracts us from them. This mindset isn't just helpful, it's transformational. Let's break it down. Here's how you can begin to simplify your life, one intentional choice at a time. 1. Declutter your environment. Your surroundings impact your state of mind more than you realize. A messy, crowded space often reflects and reinforces a messy, crowded mind. Start small. One drawer, one shelf, one room. Keep only what you use, need, or truly love. Donate the rest. Think of it this way. Every item you own requires some level of attention. Even if it's just mental, freeing yourself from excess stuff makes room for calm. 2. Reclaim your time. Take a serious look at how you're spending your days. Are you overcommitted, saying yes to things out of guilt or obligation? You don't have to attend every meeting, accept every invitation, or maintain every connection that drains you. Learn to say no, not out of selfishness, but out of respect for your limited time and energy. Prioritize what aligns with your values and brings you closer to the person you want to become. 3. Simplify your digital world. We often overlook how chaotic our digital spaces have become. Notifications, unread emails, endless scrolling, it's noise, and it steals your attention. Unsubscribe, unfollow, log out. Consider setting tech-free hours, or even full days, where you disconnect from the digital world and reconnect with the real one. Let your mind breathe. 4. Focus on what matters most. Take a moment to reflect. What are the few things that matter more than anything else in your life? Your health, your family, your creativity, or your calling. Identify them, then protect them. Marcus Aurelius said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself." In your way of thinking, don't let the trivial eclipse the essential. Real-world practices to try. A capsule wardrobe. Fewer clothes, more ease. Dress with less stress and more intention. Weekly meal planning. Save time. Eat healthier. Reduce decision fatigue. Tech-free weekends. Step away from screens. Go outside. Read. Rest. Reconnect. In the end, it's about space for what truly matters. Simplifying your life isn't about restriction. It's about freedom. It's about choosing less so you can feel more peace, more clarity, more joy. It's a conscious decision to stop chasing everything and start embracing enough. As T.S. Eliot once asked, "Where is the wisdom we have lost in knowledge? Where is the knowledge we have lost in information?" Simplifying is how we find our way back to both. So start small. Choose one area, your room, your calendar, your phone, and begin clearing space. Because the quieter your life becomes, the more clearly you'll hear what it's been trying to tell you all along. And remember, this isn't a race. It's a practice. Progress over perfection. Always.